Let's be real, are you drowning in operational data coming from a million different places? Well, today, we're going to cut right through all that noise and demystify the Azure Log Analytics Workspace. I want you to think of it as your company's central data library and its high-tech workshop all rolled into one powerful tool. Okay, let's dive right in. So here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off by looking at a problem I'm sure we all know, data chaos. Then we'll introduce the Log Analytics Workspace as the solution, the central hub. After that, we'll get into how it organizes all that data, how you can actually put it to work, and finally wrap up with how to design a smart, cost-effective setup for your own needs. All right, first up, let's talk about a challenge that pretty much every IT pro out there knows all too well. That feeling of just complete chaos when you're trying to make sense of information that's scattered absolutely everywhere. Just take a second and think about it. For your organization, is your data landscape a nice, clean, organized system? Or is it more like a digital junk drawer where, finding anything useful is a massive headache? Yeah, for a lot of us, it's definitely the junk drawer. The root of the problem is just the sheer number of places this data comes from. You've got logs pouring in from all your Azure resources, you've got data from your on-prem servers, you've got application performance metrics, security events, and the worst part? It's all landing in different places, in totally different formats, completely siloed off from everything else. Trying to get one single clear picture, it's next to impossible. So, how in the world do we fix this mess? Well, this brings us right to our solution, the Log Analytics Workspace. This is what's going to act as your central hub. So, at its very core, a Log Analytics Workspace is a unified environment. Its whole reason for being is to collect log data from literally everywhere, your Azure stuff, your non-Azure stuff, your applications, you name it, and pull it all together into one single place. That's the key, consolidation. And this is the big idea for our explainer today. The workspace is your central library, right, where all the data is collected and neatly stored. But it's also the workshop where you can get your hands dirty, analyze it, query it, and build some truly amazing things with all that information. Now that we have our central hub, let's step inside the library part of it. How exactly does the workspace get all this information organized once it starts flowing in? It's actually pretty elegant. Everything gets organized into tables, kind of like in a database. What's cool is that Azure Monitor is smart. It automatically creates a bunch of standard tables for you, right out of the box. But, and this is crucial, you also get the flexibility to create your own custom tables for any other data source, giving you total control over the data model and, of course, who gets to access what. The workspace is also really clever about how it manages data over time, using two different states. First, you've got interactive retention. Think of this as your hot data. It's right there, ready to be queried for analysis and alerts, but it costs a bit more. Then you have long-term retention, which is super low-cost archival storage, perfect for compliance, and it can hold data for up to 12 years. You can still get it back when you need it, so you really get the best of both worlds. Okay, so we've collected and organized all our data in the library. Now for the fun part. It's time to head into the workshop and actually put that data to good use. One of the most powerful tools you have in the workshop is the ability to transform data as it's coming in. This is done using something called data collection rules, or DCRs. And honestly, this is a total game changer for managing costs. Before the data even hits storage, you can apply a rule that filters out all the noisy, useless records, or just extracts the key bits of information you need. That way, you only pay to store what's actually valuable. And once that clean data is in there, oh man, the possibilities just explode. You can use the built-in Azure Monitor insights, you can create really powerful alerts that trigger automatic actions, you can integrate it directly with security tools like Microsoft Sentinel, plus you can connect it to the tools you already know and love, like Power BI and Excel, or just dive straight into the data yourself using powerful KQL log queries. Okay, let's wrap up by talking about the practical stuff, architecture and money. How do you actually design this system so it's effective for your business, but also keeps costs in check? So the cost model is thankfully refreshingly simple. Creating the workspace itself, totally free. You only get charged for two things: the amount of data you ingest, so the data you bring into the workspace, and how long you decide to retain that data. That's it. This leads you to a really critical design choice. Do you go with one single massive workspace, or do you use multiple? A single workspace is way simpler to manage, and the billing is all in one place. But having multiple workspaces can be absolutely essential for things like data residency requirements, where data has to stay in a specific country, or for easily splitting bills between different departments. So let's just bring it all home. Your log analytics workspace isn't just another data bucket. When you design it right, it becomes the single, authoritative source of truth for all of your organization's operational data, from performance metrics all the way to security logs. And that really leaves us with one final and kind of exciting question. Once you've finally tamed all that chaos and brought all of your data into this one unified library and workshop, what new connections are you going to find? What security threats will suddenly become visible? What hidden insights about your business will you finally be able to discover?